Good morning and welcome to the 445 Productive Through Joy Show with your host and your boy, Dr. Michael Datcher. The show airs each weekday morning. Hella early here at 4:45 a.m. on YouTube's Michael Datcher channel, and then 4:45 p.m. On Facebook Live. Guys, today we're talking about miracles, an idea that seems out of reach or beyond belief for many people. But let me tell you, and I am here to tell you that miracles are real. When you think about miracles being things that seemingly are unexplained by the world of what I would just call accepted rational thought. Because there is also a world, I'm a professor of English, so I believe in rational thought. And that type of knowledge, which is very powerful, I've built a career on that. And beyond that, the rational thought, though, there are other types of knowledge and other types of wisdom, like the Egyptian mystery system, for example, which is what so much of Western thought is based upon. If you know the history of how, in the time in the first millennium before, for example, what we call BCE, before the Common Era. So many of the individuals surrounding Egypt traveled to, of course, the continent, and before that, of course. But I'm just thinking about the Greek famous scholars traveling. Plato, for example, his followers Aristotle, traveling to Greece to study with the Egyptian scholars and thinkers and the priests primarily. But anyway, that's a different story. So much of Western thought is based literally on Egyptian metaphysics and ideas like know thyself, which is the primary philosophy foundation of Egyptian philosophy, which now has been credited somehow with the Greeks, which is such a travesty. That idea of the Egyptian mystery system is rooted on the idea of tapping into the primordial, the one. And there is a whole body of knowledge that would be, that cannot be explained through what we call kind of rational thought. So thanks for being here. I got a little distracted thinking about all the history of the stealing, the usurping of Egyptian, of African wisdom by the West and claiming it as their own. Really disturbing. But that's the history of the West. You know, you take ideas and you claim it as yours. But so there are things that would seem to be impossible that are possible through spiritual practice, through accessing the primordial realm. And I'm just calling those miracles in the broadest possible sense, right? So the idea that you can hold an idea in your mind, right? An image of a thing or a desire that you want, and believe that it's already happened, that act and feel, so tether emotion to it as if the thing that you want, you already have it. It is already in your possession, whether it's an idea, a character trait, a thing. We see this it's really popular in what they call sports psychology. If you know anything about sports, or if you play sports, you know this, I'm sure. But certainly in Olympic or high stakes sports, professional sports and Olympic sports, sports psychologists will have sprinters, runners, run a race in their mind over and over and over, see themselves winning, hearing the crowd screaming for victory, etc. Because they've learned that through biofeedback technology, that the body cannot distinguish between an imagined race, a race in one's head, and a race on a treadmill, which is, I won't get too deep into the woods there, but so in sports medicine, sports psychology, they already know about this power. You know, it's not framed as a miracle; it's framed as, you know, techniques that can enhance one's productivity on the track, for example. But it's really rooted in the idea that thoughts are things, that we can, although it seems impossible, that we can hold a thought in our mind, tether that thought to emotion. Here's the Lawry's, here's the magic hot sauce, and belief, right? So much of the Christian tradition about faith and belief is completely taken from the Egyptian mystery systems idea of believing that all things are possible. It's very clear that Jesus, in the Christian tradition, clearly studied or studied in Egypt, or, I mean, I'm almost sure he did, because his knowledge is almost word for word from some of the ancient texts out of the Egyptian belief systems, but or studied under the priest or someone who knew that knowledge, because much of what Jesus talked about is straight from the Egyptian mystery system. So, and the ideas that he is most famous for, the ideas about faith. You know, when you believe a thing and you tether that thing to an image and you tether it also to emotion, you know, that cocktail of techniques, I'm telling you, it can make what seems impossible possible. I'm sharing because I've seen it in my own life many times, you know. So I know it seems a little wild, a little crazy to say that, but I'm just sharing what has been my experience. I'm not even trying to convince you, because I know, to be honest, if I was hearing this, I would probably not believe it if I had actually experienced it myself many times. So which goes into point one. Point one is that you have to do your own due diligence. You know, I could tell you these things all day long, but once you begin to read and research and know and then practice and begin to engage in this behavior and it happens for you, then like, wow, that actually happened, you know? So point one is, you want to do your due diligence. You can reach out to me. I can send you some books and we can talk. But man, think about this. What if you could live miracles, meaning manifest things, create things that are important for you, your community, your family, on a regular basis? What if that was a part of your life, right? What would you do with that type of power? Now, everyone doesn't use that power for good, although that's what it's predicated upon, but it can also be used for things that are not so good, which I won't get to right now. But the power is such a real thing. So that's point one. And point two is that you have to practice it. It works best when you are in alignment with kind of what I'll call ethical spiritual behavior, because literally, you know, I call God one love, but there's just one thing, one energy, and when you are in alignment with that thing, being of service, being about love, living love, the power that accrues to you is just greater. I'm not sure how that whole thing even works. I just know that's what I've experienced. Love literally is the key. Although it sounds really hella corny, I'll just call it the being God. God literally is love. You look at some of the, as the old Africans say, and now old black people say, as above, so below. If you look at some of the elements of the physical of nature, you'll see so much of their relationship to the idea, the concept, or the attributes of love, magnetism. I mean, I won't get into that right now. That's too much to get into, but just know this is a real thing. But it does take belief, knowledge, research, and it does take practice, which is point two. The practice piece is important because all around us, the people say that, again, the miraculous, that which cannot be explained by rational thought, it's not possible. And I get it, you know, because also this miraculous approach to living, it doesn't work all the time, nor does it usually work on your time frame, right? So I'm not sure why, but this has been my experience with it. So it's easy to not believe it when it doesn't work, when it doesn't happen on your time frame. You know, it's easy to say, oh, this is something, you know, which I get. So especially for those of us who are scholars, who are trained in a certain type of system of belief in terms of knowledge acquisition. But, you know, again, in my experience, because I'm a practitioner, I practice, this is my daily life, I have seen consistently, including yesterday, for example, which I won't get into how it manifested yesterday, but wow, I've got stories. But once you practice it and you see things manifest that you've visualized and held and believed, you think, wow, what else can I do for my family, my communities, and my ancestors and myself? How else can I help my community with this power? You know, it's amazing. Which goes into point three. As you're able to manifest things for and be of service to other people, the more your power accrues and the more good you can do. Boom, goes the dynamite. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you this afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Until then, let's talk about it and be about it. Deuces.